Here are 11 of the best indie games released this year, in no particular order. Starting off with Neon White. You play as White, an ex-assassin who is trying to kill demons called Neons in order to get a spot in heaven. The gameplay is fast and fluid, and once the level is complete, you can choose whether to move on or chase the medals awarded for attaining a faster time. The game also features soul cards, which can be combined and discarded to perform powerful attacks or special movement abilities. All in all, Neon White is a surprisingly addictive and deep game that is easy to pick up but difficult to master. The unique setting, stylish visuals, and tight gameplay come together to create a truly unique and enjoyable experience that is well worth your time. From the developers of Oli Oli, Rollerdrome is a game all about performance, style, and attitude. The main character, Kara Hassan, finds herself thrown into a gladiatorial contest on roller skates. Combining one part extreme sports with one part third-person shooter, this game is simple. You skate and shoot. The visuals are striking and the soundtrack is great. Progress through the game's campaign is tied to challenges, which encourage the player to try out daring moves or chase impossible score multipliers. The difficulty curve on the game is perfectly pitched all the way through. New enemies never feel like setbacks, just exciting new puzzles to solve. No matter how much it stacks on top, the core of the game is always on performance. It's not about taking out your enemies, it's about doing it with style. Definitely go check out Rollerdrome if you have the chance. Card Shark is a game, well, about being a card shark. You play as Eugene, a mute boy who is taken under the wing of the Comte de Saint-Germain, a gentleman and, as it turns out, card shark, who is on the run. Your job is to help him cheat at cards in order to make enough money to escape the country. The game is played through a series of minigames that teach you how to perform various card tricks. These minigames are simple but effective, and by the end you will have learned over 24 card tricks. The game does a great job of tutorializing these tricks, and the controls are intuitive. The art style also adds to Card Shark's charming aesthetic. If you're looking for something a little different, it's definitely worth a try. Sifu is an indie game that has been making waves in the gaming community recently. This game is a roguelike that puts a new spin on the genre. In Sifu, you take control of a martial artist seeking revenge. The game is set in unique environments that are full of interactivity. The combat is very satisfying, but as with any other roguelike game, you're going to be dying. A lot. So to combat this, Sifu uses age mechanics, which gives your deaths meaning, by lowering your health, but also granting wisdom and new traits and skills. Sifu is a game perfect for those who are looking for a challenge. When you finally overcome the challenges, you'll feel a sense of satisfaction that is unmatched. If you like fast-paced hack-and-slash gameplay, this game is for you. Have a Nice Death is an impressive debut from the indie studio Grim Curio, and is one of the more intriguing roguelikes I've played in recent memory. This 2D action roguelike still manages to find plenty of ways to set itself apart from other recent roguelikes, such as Dead Cells or Hades. One of the most striking features of this game is its art style. A primarily monochrome black and white world full of paperwork-filled officers is the perfect match for the small but expressive Grim Reaper. Have a Nice Death hits just the right mix of absurd and enjoyable, with a move set that isn't too complex and is immensely satisfying to use. Your primary scythe swings fast, making it easy to chain together single button combos with aerial maneuvers and quick dashes. If you're looking for a new action roguelike to sink your teeth into, you'd be hard pressed to do better than Have a Nice Death. Unless, of course, you play the sequel to one of the original roguelike games, Rogue Legacy 2. The original Rogue Legacy was released in 2013 to critical acclaim. Since then, the genre has exploded in popularity. There have been countless attempts to capture the same magic that made the original Rogue Legacy so special. In Rogue Legacy 2, the core loop of the game is still the same. You'll die, your heir will take up the mantle, and you'll start again. But each death is not wasted, as you'll be able to put the gold you've collected to good use on upgrades. This time there are 15 different classes to choose from, each with their own unique skills and abilities. You'll also be able to find powerful artifacts that can completely change the way you play the game. But the biggest new addition is the Metroidvania-style traversal upgrades, which allow you to better explore the vast and interconnected world of Rogue Legacy 2. From the very first moments, it's clear that Citizen Sleeper is a unique experience. The game is set up as a tabletop role-playing game, with the player taking on the role of a sleeper, a human consciousness that has been transplanted into a synthetic body, and the property of the corporation S&R. The player's goal is to survive on the space station Erlud's Eye, and to do that, they'll need to navigate through various factions and personalities at play. The game is played through a series of cycles, with the player rolling dice to determine actions for each cycle. The dice are limited, and this forces the player to think carefully about where they use their limited time and actions. The game is full of charming and complex characters, each with their own aspirations, stories, and secrets. The game's mechanics are simple and easy to understand, but the game is also full of depth and complexity. Citizen Sleeper is a must-play for fans of the genre. One of the more popular games on this list, Cult of the Lamb is one of those indie games that just has something special. It's the perfect blend of genres with just the right amount of humor, challenge, and graphics. As a leader of a cult, you have to manage your followers, keep them fed and watered, and if anyone steps out of line, you can always feed them to the Cthulhu demon. All the while, you're fighting your way through the 4 bishops of the Old Faith in an act of vengeance. The gameplay is a perfect mix of resource management and roguelike action, and the game never overstays its welcome, finishing in around 10 hours, unless you really grow your cult. Cult of the Lamb is an exceptional and addictive game that you need to check out if you haven't already. Bear and Breakfast is the latest in a string of cozy management simulators, and it does not disappoint. With an engaging story, lovable characters, and plenty of quests to keep you busy, you take on the role of Hank, an adorable bear who becomes a hotel entrepreneur. The game is easy to pick up and play, with a simple premise that is easy to follow. The gameplay itself is fairly simple, but still enjoyable. You'll have to manage your resources carefully, as you juggle the needs of your guests and the upkeep of your property. There's also a variety of quests to undertake, which helps to keep things interesting. Overall, Bear and Breakfast is a charming game that I would highly recommend to anyone looking for a cozy management sim. Far Changing Tides is a follow-up to the successful Far Lone Sails. In Changing Tides, the player controls a small child who must navigate a post-apocalyptic world that has been flooded. This 2D side-scroller features beautiful visuals and atmospheric gameplay. The developers have done an amazing job in making this world feel alive and vibrant. There are environmental puzzles to solve and your ship to manage. Far Changing Tides is an absolutely stunning game that is worth checking out if you're a fan of sailing games or post-apocalyptic tales. And if this list wasn't enough, here are 12 more of the best indie games from last year.